Hey, hey, hey. What's going on? West Coast Wednesdays.
You sound like Dwayne from What's Happening Now when he says that.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Girl Chat Sports with Mo and Mel. We are back here, of course, on Wednesday. We appreciate you guys joining us. We got a special guest for you later on that's going to chime in, but we kind of wanted to get through a little sports here and there. I also wanted to shout out to our sponsor for this month. We got a new sponsor. You know, I'm a huge dog person. You know, my dogs, Sugar and Tilly. Big shout out to House of Paws. Where every paw matters. They got a new store. It's off Buffalo and Washington. You can find them on Instagram at house_of_paws_Las Vegas or _Las_Vegas and their website. If you go to the store and find something special for your furry friends and you mention Girl Chat Sports, you get a special little treat. So make sure to check out House of Paws. Yes, make sure you mention us. That's your sauce. We appreciate it. Thanks to Carlos and 24/7 AM Network, of course, for still streaming our stuff.
Yes.
Natalie, thanks for tuning in. Virtual hug. We appreciate you. Again, we got a great guest that's going to be coming in and joining us later. She's a very, very busy lady. But we I know it's also game 2 right now, the Suns and the Nuggets game going live. D-Book threw it down for game 1. Great game. The playoffs, I mean, I've been impressed so far.
Huh? Are you? You're impressed?
I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it right now. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I mean, I know you know, not so.
I mean, I'm still enjoying it with the Lakers. It's not like I'm going to not watch. I want to see who takes our helm. You know, we're still considered champions right now until someone takes it for this year. So it's very interesting to see who will be. It'll be very interesting who will be. So we'll go with that.
Who are you? My mom hit me the other day and was like, "So who do you want to win?" I was like, I mean, I don't really care. I'd like the Nets in it, of course. Just, you know, my whole thing with KD, he's still the last Sonic, so I wouldn't mind seeing that happen. But you know, that's what. Oh, I think she's popping in.
Oh, so
cool. Let me. Yeah. Nelly said, "Go Clippers." All right, so I want to play a short little video that she had posted on her Instagram. Kind of you know, she's back in the studio. She's got some hot tracks happening. She's got a new song dropping on the 20th. So I'm gonna play this. We're gonna bring her on, okay? I heard that. No, we're not ready to go to that level yet.
So I gotta give a big shout out to Unique Music. I cannot wait to continue to work together and to develop this relationship. This is called Good Girl.
That'd be tight though. Follow up to that one. That'd be a hard ass song. That's like a follow up to that.
And just waiting to get into the right situation, and now we're finally here.
What she said about her tippy toes here?
You love it when I'm bouncing on my tippy toes, and you love it.
All right, let's get her on. Hey, Dylan Gonzalez.
Hi, Dylan. You know the Dylan? You know the deal? Is that what
you know the deal?
What's going on, guys?
How are you?
I am amazing, man. Busy ever, but so blessed and so amazing and so grateful to be here. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. I repped UNLV for you today. I wore this for your alma mater. Thought I'd show you some love.
I was just there today, actually.
Were you?
Oh, yeah?
Talk about it. What did you have going on over there?
What was that?
What did you have going on over there?
Well, I did a little surprise appearance. They were actually doing their summer camp. Mm-hmm. So my friends were coaching and things like that. So they let me know what the time was that I needed to come through. So I got to be like the hype man of the year meets the coach meets a ref. You know,
okay.
Nice little time. I love getting to stuff like that. They're the best. They like you cannot make the things up that they do. It was so great. I loved it. I missed it, honestly.
That's awesome. That is really
I can
awesome.
only imagine. Now, I mean, of course, we all know that you played for UNLV. You played prior to that for Kansas for a little bit. You like I put on the post, you're forever hooper. Like we see on your Instagram, you're always in the gym, you're always playing hard. Obviously, a great workout as well. But what was that decision hard for you to kind of just put basketball aside and focus on career, entertainment, business, that kind of stuff? And what got you into that choice?
It's like yes and no, because for my entire life, really, I'd been singing, I've been writing, I've been a creative kind of before anything. It just so happened that with where I came from and then also what my parents' backgrounds in sports were and their prolific accolades, the ball literally just kind of got rolled to me. And then it was like my entire life path from that point was set. And for a while, it really didn't feel like I had a choice. And in the beginning, when you're a kid, you get to fall in love with all the fun aspects of it and the aspects that bring out the healthy competitive nature in you and the aspects that bring out certain visions and ideas for your future that, you know, you feel you could have the potential to fulfill. And then as you get older and it just starts feeling more and more forced, you almost kind of start to resent the game a little bit. And then when it starts systematic, and when you have to deal with certain institutionalism and certain oppressiveness within that institutionalism, you just kind of feel defeated and you're just ready to kind of be done with it. So I think that when it came to like making the decision to leave a year early, I got my degree. So that kind of was off my checklist, and I thinking about having to just go back to school just to be in school and fulfill classes didn't really make sense for me, especially knowing that I personally, in Dylan's world, didn't see a career path in the professional world of women's basketball because, frankly, I feel like it's behind in the times. And I wanted to help be a part of, you know, making that a better situation.
Right.
But I had to first honor my calling and honor my promises to myself since I was a kid. I think the first song I ever wrote was like in first grade or kindergarten. I did a remix of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And the music really means everything to me. And that's why I just have been so patient about getting it out. It's been an uphill battle, but so worth it. So worth the moment now, getting to put my music out and kind of having everything all locked in a safe that I get to just share and have no pressure with. It's amazing. It was totally worth it.
That's great. Now, when you did your rendition of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, was there a Casio keyboard involved? I need to know because when I had one as a kid, when I was your age, I had one. I had a little mixed beat and I was trying to make little songs. I'm not a songstress as much as my voice carries. I wish I was. But I'm curious about the remix. Like I would have never, thought of that in the musical side of that. I never thought to sing it, but I was just play it.
And I didn't really all I knew was little jingles and things at the time. Like I was raised Christian, so I went to a lot of Christian camps and that's my background. Amen. But and I learned a lot of songs and jingles and tales going to honestly a bunch of different camps, a bunch of different churches, a bunch of different households and things like that. So when I was younger, I got to be inspired very creatively. And that's kind of how I learned to express my emotions and express the things that I was dealing with on the court that I didn't really know how to deal with or how to confront. I got to escape into this musical reality. It was like a whole other world that gave me so much peace and hope. It gave me a lot of hope, pushed me through the times where I really was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to make it another day. I don't know if I can keep doing this. The music is what I really leaned on since I was very young. So the writing part of it kind of came actually really easy. And even when I listened to, I remember the little remix to this day. And when I hear it, I'm like, wow, I was really so mature for even that time, that time of my life. I've just kind of always been like a kid at heart with a very wise mind.
Yeah, well, that's the calling, it just hits you. You never know. And when you're more advanced than what you normally would be, that's the gift. So Hey,
Most definitely.
thank him for that, for sure.
So talk a little bit about your music now, because you've got a new song that drops pretty soon on June 20th. And I heard a little bit of it and I loved it. But what has that been like for you? I mean, beyond, we'll talk about kind of the stuff that you're getting into business-wise, but your schedule's so packed, spending these endless hours in the studio. I mean, what does it mean for you to actually finally be getting this music out there for people to listen to?
Oh man, I'm gonna take a page and a quote from my guy Nipsey's book, and I'm gonna say it feels like a victory lap, man. It really does. Like you just the marathon is still continuing. You know, there's still so many more tiers of success and levels that I'm trying to reach. Just goals that I've set for myself personally and expectations that I've held that I refuse to, not see through in my lifetime if I have anything to do with it. So yeah, I'd say it feels like a victory lap, but we're
Shout out to Nipsey on that for sure. I think he definitely sent waves for everyone to have their marathon. So let your marathon continue, girl. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's sure. It's actually so cool now that I get to work with unique music, and I got to go and see where Nip really came from and really get engulfed in the culture. And I even got to tune in and spend my time watching hip hop uncovered to even get to know the people that I'm working with and their stories, and it all inspired me so much. I definitely believe that God doesn't make mistakes and that everything happens for a reason. So again, I feel really blessed. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's up.
Has there been anyone, besides Nipsey and the team, there has been anyone more that's been inspiring for you on this music journey of yours?
Man, listen, there are so many people that I could name because I look up to so many people outside of music. So in my musical world, I will personally say that the top 5 people that I study the most are Sierra. Oh man, that's my dog. Sierra, Beyonce, Janet Jackson, Nicki Minaj, and Rihanna. Those are probably like the top that I study and that I really was influenced by very heavily when I was young. I mean, I could start getting into the top 10, but we could be here for a long And I would say that another person who's inspired me again from my childhood just to always dream big and to pursue that dream was Walt Disney, for sure. And then on the other side of the coin for me would definitely be Martin Luther King, for sure. And then also like people like Oprah, Michelle Obama.
You got a list.
There's a whole list.
You got a list. You got a whole list. I think we all personally have a list, and I think, you left Mariah off that list, but that's a whole nother. And I'm only saying that because my friend Dre might be watching and he's always checking for that Mariah, and then Mary J. Blige just be too checking that list off. So you're like, to your point, we could go all day on a top 10 for sure.
It's kind of like, what mood are we in?
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Right. So where do you get your where else does your motivation and inspiration come from to write the lyrics to your songs? Are there meanings behind that? Are they personally related? What's going on with that as far as your lyricism?
Personally, they're 1,000% experience based. And I'm also like a poet, I'm a storyteller. And honestly, the only way that I've found that I'm able to tell stories that satisfy me, and it takes a lot to satisfy me. So like, I realized if I can satisfy and impress myself, I could definitely impress other people. Not on like trying to hype myself up, but like genuinely looking at things from at least 3 perspectives, not just my own, and being like my biggest hype man, but also my biggest critic at the same time, constructively. And when it came to writing like the stories, the words really just kind of came to me because I really studied language for a very long time. I studied words. When I was in high school, I was scared as shit of the SAT. So my mother told me most people, they struggle with the SAT because of the fact that they just don't understand the language of the questions that are being asked. So if you like understand the words and you understand what's being asked, you can have, a better opportunity to do well. So I decided to read the dictionary like a crazy person. And I read that thing, and then once I really started to fall in love with the English language, and the dictionary also gave me the opportunity to look even beyond just the definition of the word, but also where it was rooted from, the systems, where the other languages, and it just opened up so many doors for me to understand even what language meant to me. And music became the universal language. And that's why I think I fell in love with it so much. And love is just effortless when it's true and it's pure like that. And again, when you go through real life experiences that you just can't fake. And I feel like a lot of the current music right now, it's forced. A lot of stories are being told for people. I write all of my own music, and I really have my own kind of style, and it's a little unconventional and a little unique. And it's going to take, I think, some people a little adjusting to, but ultimately it's all just very real for me. So I think that's what kind of the bottom common denominator of getting the lyrical prowess together.
And was that like a mental purge for you, like to let some of that go? Like if there was the energy of negativity or anything that you faced in life in your relationships, has that helped you mentally going forward?
For sure. And I think that sometimes the big thing is just being scared of sharing that with other people. Because like I really embrace all of who I am. Every single crazy, beautiful, weird thing about myself. The only part that you start to like either have doubt or feel insecure about is I feel like everybody naturally cares about other people, and that's just a certain interconnectedness and a universal truth that a lot of people are in denial of. And so when we got into this culture of like I don't, give a fuck about anything or anyone or anyone's opinion and this and that, it's almost like there were really zero fucks given. And now it shows. It's like, okay, yeah, you shouldn't have put that song out. You clearly gave zero fucks about that song because it was trash. Okay, yeah, you shouldn't. So like it just kind of started becoming this domino and this trickle effect. And I just didn't want to continue to contribute to that. I really wanted to challenge that and challenge the, I guess, the popular opinion. I'm kind of, I call myself like the popular unpopular kid, because I've been who I am and spoke my mind, and it's honestly rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But one thing I know for sure is I'm consistent.
Yeah.
Like we're here.
Yeah. So, and shout out to your mom. I love Miss Angie. You had mentioned her earlier. Talk about how important it is for, just, I guess, being raised and growing up in Idaho and having your family and your connection, and not only just the sports aspect, but just the support they're giving you these days. Your mom is constantly like showering her kids with all this support and love. And I'm sure your father too, but I just see her mostly on Instagram. But
the mom's a cheerleader, man. The mom's a rider. Yes, and that's how mom should be. You should be riding for your kids all day, regardless. Yeah.
Exactly. That's great. My mom, she definitely instilled toughness in me very, very young. And that's something that I will forever be grateful for. And I think that just when it comes to family and having a support system, I feel like it's crucial. And it's crucial to have people that you can trust, and crucial that you can have people that no matter what are always going to be there for you. No matter, they're not there for the money, they're not there for the fame, they're not there for all of the things that come along with success. They're there for you. They're not for some kind of other agenda. So for me, sometimes family isn't even always blood. You know what I mean? Sometimes family are just the people who align with the values and actually like live it in real life, that I believe family to be. You know what I mean? And so there are relatives that sometimes I have will pop out of the blue like, hey, we're cousins. And I'm like, what? But I love to get to know everybody who I am related to. And I love to see my family expand in that way. So now as I do continue to like reap the seeds of success, and as this abundance kind of continues to follow me, I think one of the coolest things is getting to expand my family and getting to find more people that align with who I am and that really believe in me and what I'm doing, and that I can give that same confidence and support back to.
Yeah, that's great. That really is. And then you know, with the family that are running into you, that are saying, "Hey, we're related." I'm sure they're not being the opportunistic type family members, like, "Hey, we're related, put me on," or "Hey, I'm related, kick me down some money," or any of that kind of stuff. So it's good that you're running into the ones that are genuinely saying, "We're family and we just want to know you." You know, because I know you probably run into some instances where people are trying to clout chase, if they will, or piggyback off of that. How are those experiences, and how are you handling those?
Those ones honestly are the most heartbreaking. You know what I mean? Like, they really break my heart. Like, I'm somebody who's really tough, and I can make very cold-hearted decisions when I feel like that's deserved. And I'm somebody who is very confident when I feel like I've been given enough reason to make that kind of a decision. And unfortunately, everybody has to deal with the consequence of that, of like the loss. Everybody has to deal with that. Of course, the person making the decision is usually that ends up being the bad guy. And a lot of times when you're the most successful, or when you're kind of the most famous, or the most whatever, when you're in a certain category on your own in your family, and you immediately get put into a place of being misunderstood. And a lot of times these expectations come from what feels like a socialist governing party. And everybody feels very entitled to whatever it is that you do or that you think, whether that's your business or your money or your relationships or your resources or your knowledge or, hell, your body. Like, people just start feeling entitled to you for the fact that you're family, or for the fact that they provided something for you, or whatever. When it comes to like family being on the other end of that, and I have experienced that, it's just heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. And all I can do is just love people, is just learn to love people from a distance, and just continue to put my intentions out there, and pray for the best scenario later on.
And isn't that crazy? Because even those that don't have much, like even myself or anybody, you still got family members that'll just cut you deep. So I can only imagine.
More money,
right? It is the craziest thing ever, and you know, it's unreal. But it is at the same time, what you said, heartbreaking. It really is. So, yeah.
Oh man, how has it been though to go from, you know, small town Pocatello, Idaho, correct? Because I had family out there too. To go from Idaho to having 1 point however many million followers these days, where you're actively interacting with the crowd that comments with you, that shares your stuff, that you know, you don't have someone necessarily handling your social media. You're doing this. You're reading comments. You're seeing the, you know, positive and negative. How has that affected you? Especially, you're not, you know, you're still young. I mean, very young compared to other people in this podcast right now. But how
Speak for yourself, Mel. I'm right there with Dylan.
Right.
She made me feel young today. I'm sorry. Right. Thank you. Give me that black girl magic. I'll take it. Thank you. Got it. Thanks. Love you.
How hard has that been? And because, you know, we have all dealt with mental health. I know with the pandemic, mental health was hard for a lot of people. But just going from one capacity to a whole other now, when, you know, everything you post is being seen by thousands of people and is being critiqued, is being judged, whether it be your music, you know, your body. I mean, we all know that you take great care of your body, you're working out. There's plenty of men out there who are for sure know who Dylan Gonzalez is and follow and support your pictures, of course. But how hard is that to deal with, just in general, as being a woman and being someone who definitely takes care of themselves, who enjoys to look good, who enjoys to, you know, be able to share what they have? You know, how hard is that to not also be overlooked and be seen as, oh, now I'm just a target. Now I'm just this. Because talking to you, and we've met before and we've talked, it's like talking to you and then seeing you sometimes, it's like I can see how some people, they don't get the difference. Like, you're beautiful and super intelligent. And I don't think some people get that. And it's like, how do you deal with that, you know, on a daily basis? Like, I can't even deal with it sometimes when a couple idiots comment on something I post, but to have thousands of people doing it, or, you know, to be looked at in a certain way, how do you deal with that personally?
Honestly, I talk to God like 24/7, like honestly. And that's kind of the most simple, basic answer that I can give. And that's why I have such a strong, deep-rooted, unshakable faith. I really do. But it took a quarter of a century at the least of development. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people want to think that time and experience can be substituted, and it can't. It can't be substituted when it comes to like real honest development and growth, and having that in a consistent way for a period of longevity, like for essentially what you're looking for the rest of your life, for as long as you get to live and as long as you get to experience living. And unfortunately, like most people today, they live in this instantly gratifying world, where that's what they're constantly seeking. And if they don't have that instant gratification, if they don't have that validation from a source that they view as above them, or as, you know, the next tier of where they're trying to reach or to get to, if they don't have that, then people, you know, they don't see themselves as that. So then they have to try to figure out how to deal with their insecurities. They have to try to figure out how to deal with their inadequacy complexes that are already instilled kind of at birth, thanks to generational curses that do exist. And then from that point forward, they just project that onto other people. And I'm somebody who's been a target of that my whole life. So I had to learn to humble myself pretty quickly, because of the fact that everybody else was constantly making me their emotional punching bag. And then unfortunately, it's like the people in my life are now having to deal with these explosive versions of myself, thanks to the constant torment that I'm getting from every single person in every avenue. And what's crazy is that a lot of times the people who are like smiling in your face, or the people that are in these positions of success or whatever, who like to keep the reality of like stories and relationships like behind the scenes because of how it will taint their character. When you're somebody who hasn't reached that level of success but are associated with those people, you become expendable to the narrative. And when you do that, and then people see you, and especially as a woman, especially one who embraces her sexiness and her sexuality and also her intelligence and also her faith, I'm the walking fucking contradiction. And I just said word fucking. You know what I mean? So it's like people have a really hard time trying to wrap their mind around something that doesn't make sense when their entire life I challenge everything that they've been taught to be true.
Yeah.
So I stop taking it personal and just trust God's plan for me in my life.
Well, and people get stuck living in a box, and they're only used to what's in that box and what they experienced. And they're, you know, and they don't realize there's a whole world out there that, you know, everybody's experiencing on their own. And like you said, God has a plan for us all. So I think that's, you know, it's amazing. I give it up to you, and being able to tolerate with that. And, you know, I mean, I know you get lots of love out there, but I know just from seeing some of your posts, there's a lot of people that are just bitter and petty. And I think that during the pandemic, more than anything, we've seen people that have extra time at home, and a lot of people with keyboards that want to just go off.
That's 80-20 though. So that 20% is a non-factor anyway, in my opinion.
It's true. I think so, until that 20% be part of that 20% are the people who are in the top, well, we'll say 20% financially in the world, or influence power. And the second that 20% get, like, you know, because I expose people's truths because of how real I am. Like I said, what you see is what you get. And a lot of people don't like who they really are. And when that happens, I become a threat to whatever little fake life that they're trying to live, because of the fact that I won't tolerate it. I'm not going to have that on my conscience. I'm not tainting my peace of mind to be a part of a narrative that is not fully true or
right.
So,
especially when the social media platforms are built on the fraudulence of some people that claim to be certain things and they're not. It's got to be a hard line for you to stay on the truth of your page compared to somebody else's, because a lot of it is they're perpetrators. A lot of them are fraudulent and stuff like that. And then they try to come for you on some stuff, and you're actually getting real. So I imagine it could be crazy.
Dependable. But for me, I just knew, like, as long as I just continued to do what I felt God put on my heart to do, and I followed every step and and I asked for forgiveness where I felt like I fucked up, and I did, and I became better and made better choices, because it's no better, you got to do better. Learned that from Dr. Maya Angelou. And one of the many mantras that I've applied to this journey, because it's not like I'm perfect. I've made plenty of mistakes. I've said things that I didn't mean, that I wish I could take back, and then I've also had situations where I didn't speak up, and I didn't wish I would have said. And I find that when I look back and I analyze a lot of the situations that I've been in my lifetime, I'll say that the things that, well, you regret the things that you don't do more than the things that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's called growth, sis. And you being human, we all have said some things that we've regretted. We've all made some mistakes that, you know, we wish we could go back and take some things back. That's humanity. The fact that you're acknowledging it, that's growth. The fact that you know there's something to do about it, that's maturity. So you're already on your way to doing the things that you got to do. You, as long as you recognize it and know it, you straight. You really good.
Man, exactly. So I just keep trying to make sure that I really am living and breathing and being the example of what I want to see in the world. Like, seriously. And there are even so many people that I look up to, who deal with certain struggles that I will never know, I will never understand, I will never have experienced. And even for them, I want to be able to create a space of just hopefulness, of acceptance, of safety.
Yeah.
Well,
For the
let's
guys
talk
of you
about
that, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say for everybody that's tuning in and tapping in right now, I see other people join the chat. Shout out to Demetrius, said he's here, you know, to checking in, and shout out to him, shout out to Steph, everybody else. We've got Dylan Gonzalez on. This is Girl Chat Sports. I mean, we haven't gotten into sports yet. I really want to know your take as far as what the future of the women's basketball team for UNLV will looks like to you, since you had your visit today. But I'll have Mel ask her question first, and then we'll shift into that.
I just wanted to know more so, because we were talking about, like, you know, the love and starting a movement, and you have the Love is the Movement and the Peace Train Foundation. So I wanted to ask about that, how you got that. I mean, of course, I'm sure when everybody gets to a certain point in life and they have the means and the ability, they want to be able to start something to help give back. But what was it that you, you know, decided to do to bring this to fruition? What was the reason behind it?
Ever since I was young, I used to always say, and I would tell my family this too, and I do not know like where it came from. So again, I just have to lean not on my own understanding and say, God just must have, you know, put it on my brain and sent me as the messenger. But I always say, I'm going to save the world and change a culture. And that was such a broad statement, and it just stuck with me to this day. And I always tried to I was like, what does that mean? Like, that is a lot of pressure, girl. Like, I know pressure make diamonds, but damn, like, can we get like, what are we going to do exactly to save the world? Where's the world need saving from? Like, who's the enemy, you know? So there was a lot of uncovering that I had to dive into when it came to that. And when I got down to it, and when I continued to have not only my own experiences, but things that I just got to be witness to, things that just, again, were heartbreaking to me, would break my heart, with how certain people are treated, or the police brutality, or the wars that are just ongoing, not only within just the little communities themselves, but also on national and global levels, and how people treat people, you know, like, it's not okay where there are supposed to be these institutions that provide relief and help are really criminalizing, and it puts people in positions to be dependent on them for the rest of their lives. And sometimes these institutions got ulterior motives and agendas that like, you know, the people who are getting involved have no idea about, and become, you know, these expenses to now this institution, right? And so for me, I just wanted to be able to help wherever it was needed. And even when I was getting into like figuring out the 501c3 business side,
Mhm.
my diligence studying it really bothered me that I had to choose like who I could help, and that I would be violating like all this tax because of not picking their like community of people to help, like childhood cancer, mothers, or whatever the case. But on the other side, I understand why that is because of how many people are smart enough to be take advantage of the system and evade taxes and things like that. So it's like I understood why it was in place, but that still makes it less about it. So when it came to the peace train, I was with my family. We were all figuring it out together, and my mom actually started like she said something like, "Oh, like we want the foundation to be like a movement, like it's like." Or no, she said we want it to be about peace and love and this and that. It's kind of like reminds me of the Cat Stevens song Peace Train, and I was like, Peace Train. I was like, that's it, the Peace Train. I'm gonna be the modern day Harriet Tubman and love the movement. That's what.
Mhm.
And when I was looking up the top 50 mission statements in the world, the number one, and this was the only one that I remember, right? I don't remember two because two is the first clue. And I don't remember what comes after two because, oh yeah, third. Nobody remembers third. So number one on the list was TED Talks, and it said spreading ideas. And I was like, that's a mission. Bet. I came up with to anybody who needs more love, just hop on board. And now I'm able to create events and then fundraisers around people specifically or causes specifically. Again, help whoever needs it. And I
That's
also
great.
language that was uplifting. I didn't want people to feel like a charity. I wanted people to feel celebrated.
That's great. Who have you partnered with so far locally in the city?
Honestly, I'm just really starting to get my roots out here in the city, but we have gotten to work with the school district out here, and that has been super, super amazing. One of the first things that we did as a foundation was 11 days of donating, where we had everybody, just spread the word, trying to get donations in to be able to go and buy a bunch of school supplies for the Clark County school districts. And originally we were only planning on being able to, supply maybe one of the schools because we weren't really sure, what kind of feedback or what kind of engagement we were going to get, especially coming out of 2020,
Right.
So we didn't want to bite more than we could chew, but thankfully, just again, by people's generosity and the support of the community, we were able to raise 3 times as much money. So we were able to go to 3 different schools to donate and give a bunch of school supplies, because education is definitely one of the top things that we prioritize at the Peace Train Foundation, as well as mentorship and health and fitness and things like that. But education is for sure where it starts. And even today, I actually just launched a project collaboration that I'm a part of with the Players Company. And you can go check out my Instagram, Dylan Gonzalez, more about it and to sign up. But essentially what we want to do is create a space for access and for education when it comes to financial literacy predominantly.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That really
That's
is.
Great.
Now, do you consider the city, since you played UNLV basketball here, do you consider the city of Vegas your home? Do you feel like this is the true foundation roots for you?
For sure. I definitely feel like this is like where I'm from, because anytime people ask me where I'm from, I tell them heaven. And then
and I'm sure there's men in the chat that say, yes, Lord. Everybody else.
Sometimes people get mad and they'll be like, everybody's for heaven, and I'll go, are they? And then they'll be like, yeah, and then I'll be like, then why'd you ask me?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. Facts.
Definitely become home. And when I was here during my collegiate years, the city just embraced me so much. And it was during a time for my sister and myself that was honestly like really tough for us. It was a really tough transition. Our freshman year at Kansas was rough, man. That was a different beast of an institution and still very backwards when it comes to the treatment of the student athlete, in my opinion, especially on the women's side, because of the lack of success and the luster of the men's success. So yeah, that was like a really traumatizing experience, honest to goodness. To this day, I still have some very, 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 very intense words for the coach. And I wish I would cross paths with her. I think just the look in my eyes, like, would probably just make her shake having to see one of the demons from her past. So yeah, there's that. But don't get me wrong, like I'm not harboring any like hate towards her, but I will never forget what she did to me and my teammates.
Wow.
So that position was already very difficult. So coming to a that embraced the fact that I was different, that I wasn't the stereotypical basketball player. I liked to look cute. I like to have my nails done. I like to have my eyelashes on. I like to give my little attitude like I'm an entertainer. That's what I do. That was a part of what made the competitiveness and the entertaining part of basketball fun for me. And that's also what made me become a better player and like a fancier player. And like you see the guys getting to do it all the time, and like women don't have as much permission to do that. So a lot of times people aren't as impressed with the women's game, and it's because of the people that are in power and in control dictating what kind of player you can be and what kind of career you can have. And because they want it to fit their agenda, they want it to fit their mold. And right now there's still a very old-fashioned way that the women's game is played and looked at. There are some players that are breaking the mold and doing things like Brittany Griner and dunking in games, but she also Brittany Griner. And
yeah, I know. Yeah. I was co-signing. She sure did.
She's also earned, like, you know, the confidence to be able to spend certain things in her career and just achieve certain things that other people have not. So that's why you get players that are literally like roses growing out of the concrete. But essentially, when it comes to the women's game in total, a lot of people don't have that same, again, support, don't have that same like confidence, and then just the way that the women's game, women are a lot more abiding. We believe, we give the benefit of the doubt a little bit more. Guys will kind of be a little more suspect when they hear like, I'll see it when I believe it. Women are willing to be team players usually, most of the times. I mean, every here and there you'll have a hothead or somebody who feels like a little entitled. I was one of them, so I know like every so often you'll have that, but you end up having a humbling experience that makes you better, and you become a person whose name gets in the history books if you overcome that space. But yeah, I don't know. It sucks in my opinion. It sucks that when it comes to the women's game, when it comes to being able to take the game to the next level, it's gonna be more than just one or two players like talking about it. It's gonna be like the whole system. It's a whole team. It goes all the way to the front offices, and kind of so full circle, bringing that back to UNLV. I felt like I had the permission to do and to be and to have that at UNLV. And again, kind of walking into it, getting that red carpet into it, that was the case scenario at first. And then there were, again, just very unfortunate things that happened. You know, I wasn't necessarily being supported, wanting to be a musician and wanting to be in entertainment. I was constantly getting told I was violating rules. But a lot of people what a lot of people don't realize is when you're signing the non-negotiable contract to play for the NCAA, you're actually like signing certain like human rights away for yourself. And really, because of the fact, when it comes to your likeness and you become owned, you become a product of somebody. So when it comes to certain freedoms that the human right like that we have, you no longer have that. And you no longer get to approach the business world the same. And that's what has been super unfortunate. And that's where a lot of the coaches and a lot of the front office people don't get it. Because a lot of them didn't even have this opportunity that we have today, especially when it came to social media and creating brands and becoming our own businesses for ourselves. So they didn't even really know how to deal with it. All they knew was if they weren't making money, you're not making money. And I got to see and be a part of that very firsthand. I had a TV show that sold to ABC Freeform during my going into my junior season, and the NCAA came in and my school, UNLV, came in, and they were basically like, "Yeah, you can do it as long as we get this much of the ownership and this."
Wow.
Also have to be, even though it broke all the rules, right? It broke all, but we could do it if they were getting paid. And then they also got to have the final say so of the cut.
I say on the content of what you have to put out.
It was like, fuck y'all. Who do you
Wow.
That's wild. That is so wild. That is so wild. So you lose creative control of what you want to do, and then you got to pay them.
I was constantly having to write letters to the NCAA apologizing to them for pursuing my dream, because I would lose my eligibility. Like, for example, I wanted to go get more experience, because as an athlete and somebody who's a serious one, that you need experience, you need practice hours if you want to be the best, and you got to practice outside of practice. So I was literally going to games, waking up, going to weights, going to class, then going to the studio at night and being there maybe till like 2 a.m. or like I needed at least like an hour or two to sleep before my class or before weights or whatever, right? Like, this was the constant that I lived in for a long time, which is also why now you see me doing so much stuff and I do it effortlessly, because back in college, it was way tougher because I wasn't working for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
So then it's like I'm sitting there, I'm going to the studio, and I tried to do shows like for free. I wasn't getting paid. I was literally doing slave labor, right? For basketball and for music.
Wow.
And so and I would go to these places and be like, hey, do you guys have like an open mic or whatever? I just want to come start like seeing some songs, seeing how people vibe with them. They'd be like, yeah, sure. But then of course they would find out that I'm like this, well-known person and want to use my name and want to do this. So I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I wasn't even thinking anything of it really at the time. Again, I'm not getting paid. I'm just excited to have an experience and like that I'm getting my chance or whatever. And then the next thing I know, the little bar or whatever is announcing, Dylan Gonzalez, do this and that and the other. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm all excited. Word gets back to my compliance officer. The haters are letting everybody know. A lot of the times the haters are, in the locker room with me, or in the locker rooms on the other teams or whatever.
Wow. That's so wild. It's just wild and crazy.
A compliance officer, though, like there's literally a compliance officer out there.
They were like, this is a violation. You're violating rule, this and that from bylaw, blah, 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 blah. And what'd they say? They were like, yeah, you're going to lose your eligibility. You can't play for this amount of games. And I was like, what the hell? And they were like, yeah. I said, well, like, clarify what all that shit means to me. Like, just speaking at me a bunch of craziness, a bunch of words. Like, I'm a kid. What are you saying? I don't have a lawyer. I don't have somebody interpreting this shit for me. It was a foreign language. And so they basically were like, yeah, well, you violated this part of your contract that like they own your likeness for, and this is a commercial establishment, and they're like it's $5 a head for like entering the bar, and there's alcohol being served, and so I'm just like,
oh wow.
And then I couldn't do anything online. They wouldn't let me do anything online. I couldn't get paid for anything, and if you did get paid, there was a salary cap, and you could literally only like it was disrespectful. I don't even believe it was 5 figures for the year.
That's hectic as heck.
You couldn't 5 figures for the year, not even 5.
That's hectic. That's so crazy and hectic. I mean, I'm now traumatized from your story right now.
Yeah,
because I never knew that even like. You never know, because the only story they put out is what their side is or their version of it or anything, and we're getting the real from you of how they operate. And I'm just like, that's wild. That's just so crazy and wild.
But it made me
well, it's crazy. These kids are having to sign contracts, and then there's nobody. I'm sure there's no attorneys. Like these kids in college that are signing contracts don't have attorneys with them to help them realize what they're signing.
Think to do that, they wouldn't even think to do that.
Exactly.
Because they're just trying to get recognized themselves and come up. You understand what I'm saying? They're broke too. Like they're trying to get their career in order. Like, and then you're just taking advantage.
Exactly.
I know Miss Angie had some words, honey. Please tell me she did.
And
Please tell me she stepped in, please.
ooh, I saw her true colors come out.
And what shade was that? Because I'm sure of it.
Made me so mad too, because you have to think I'm like a little pit bull. I'm angry all the time, and I just wanted to go off. So having to sit there and be disrespected and have my livelihood played with over some like honest to goodness bullshit was.
Yeah.
And at Kansas, it was even worse. Like they played with your life. They weren't just trying to play with your career. They played with your life.
Wow. They were going to take everything in your firstborn, basically, is what you're saying. Wow.
Unbelievable. Well, it's crazy, too, because UNLV, with you guys playing there, both you and your sister, the people that you guys brought in there just to watch you, let's not even talk celebrities or athletes or whomever, you're bringing attention to their school for them already just by playing there.
And that team alone, for the women's basketball team, just the notoriety of that alone. People were filling up Cox Pavilion for them.
Exactly. And guess what? I didn't see a dime from that. I don't see a dime from the jersey sales. I don't see being exploited and selling all the tickets and getting all the people and getting all the fans and selling all the merchandise and the season ticket holders and the camps and this. I ain't seen nothing.
Dylan, you gonna make me take my shirt off, but we live right now, so I can't even change my shirt right now.
Oh, I do that, you know, what I'm hoping for now is that they'll do right by me. You know,
yeah.
Like I'm hoping to see the support that I never really got during college now. That's what I'm hoping for. And that's why I even started showing up and coming back.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you showing up probably helped.
I was mad at them, and I was mad at the fact that they tried to coerce me into going back for my final year, and I was mad at how they spun the narrative of us leaving, and it was not right, you know. So I was, and then you know, they got a whole new staff and a whole new this and that, and I was still, you know, kind of putting up a bunch of my radar because I don't trust easily. I just been through a lot that, you know, gives me reason not to. And so for me, I just wanted to develop another relationship and really get to know everybody who's there now. I really, really, really enjoy the new head coach. I love all the girls that are currently on the team. Even me and some of my old teammates gotten to get reconnected, and that's been amazing. And then, you know, just being hopeful for the future and being able to give them some guidance. And to be honest, it was more than just wanting to get connected with the school. It was more so wanting to connect with the kids and the players and do right by the generation coming up after me, that I essentially influenced kind of this new lane that they're now living in. Now you're seeing rules like from people like me, like my sister and I, we played a very pivotal role in that rule change when it came to athletes being able to, you know, use their likeness and things like that. And a lot of people don't even know some of the history that my sister and I have made. Like we're two of the first women in a men's video game in NBA Live. And, you know, we were doing a lot of things outside of just playing that a lot of people didn't want to give us credit for because they were still so heartbroken about the fact that we weren't on the floor. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, you just had a lot of people who were haters and just wanted to see us fail. So it's like anytime we didn't do something that the rest of the culture deemed as worthy of being celebrated, it was kind of just like, yeah, see, like there ain't nothing. They're not doing nothing. And so I did start taking everything personal, but in a way that was going to help me to grow and develop efficiently and progressively and positively. And to be honest with you, my sister, she is really a lot nicer than me in the sense of is super, super, super forgiving. And she'll just kind of like move on and just pray that everybody's going to be good and whatever. But she almost kind of lives a little bit delusionally because she thinks everybody like moves like that too. And it's not true. There are a lot of very vindictive people. There are a lot of vengeful people. Again, a lot of people who move in real life envy and fear and hate and feeling threatened by another person's greatness. And so for me, I was the person that was always able to kind of see through all of that shit. And so I was willing to confront it, and I was willing to be a dog, and I was willing to put my team back and be like, nah, none of us are tolerating this. Even if I got to be the one that carries us to the other side and parts the red motherfucking sea, I'm going to do it. I'm going to praise on my Lord and Savior, and we going to make it happen again. We going to make it jungle, and we're going to get through this because no. I will not tolerate none of it.
Yeah. That's wild. Because my
my
thing is, how did you guys even get recruited to come to UNLV on the notion that this probably would have never happened? What was it that highlighted you guys to even come to Vegas initially?
So the thing for me and for my sister was we are very family oriented people. And so one thing we knew was that if we had the opportunity to go together, that those were going to be the opportunities that we took the most seriously. Because in our minds, that would probably be like the last years that we would get to play together, and we wanted to make the most of it. But we were open-minded to being individually recruited.
Okay.
Essentially, when it came down to UNLV, they offered the both of us in like 8th grade. I think we were like, the recruiting started like when we were like 13. So we were immediately prized ponies, you know, and it sometimes sounds and looks a lot prettier than what people will know and understand, like the reality and harshness of the lifestyle of a prized pony to be, especially with one that has a lot of potential. And two.
Right.
We got offered very early. We got to develop a relationship with the coaches very early, and just a certain sense of trust that for me, Dylan, that I personally never forgot. The problem with me coming out of high school was I had such a chip on my shoulder, coming from a small town, being ranked, you know, off and on number 1, number 2 in the state with my sister. I kind of had this chip on, like I was still trying to prove a point. I was still trying to prove myself to myself and to all my doubters and to all my haters. Like, it didn't matter that I was number 1 or 2 in the state. It didn't matter that I was a McDonald's All-American. It didn't matter that I had an offer from basically every single school in the top. That stuff didn't matter to me. It was like I still had something to prove, and I went to the next level and do it. And the only way I was going to be able to do that was at the highest competitive level in Division I women's basketball. And for me, that came down to the Pac-12 and to the Big 12. And it was so close. My sister, she was actually like really close to going to Notre Dame. I was really close to going to UW, but we didn't want to split up and be on sides of the country, and we kind of just, you know, met in the middle, literally in the middle at KU. And then KU, it had potential for me because it's in this major conference, and they hadn't really done like, I wanted to go make history somewhere. So like, to me, it actually wasn't as appealing to go to a per se like a Tennessee, and I'm not saying that to like downplay Tennessee or anything. It just wasn't as appealing to me as a player, because I wanted to go somewhere and be a part of making history. I didn't want to go somewhere where the history was made for me, and that's why I was getting all the attention. I wanted to go and get and earn my stripes and make the history myself. So Kansas, to me, had the most potential for that because of the fact that they had like just gone to the Sweet 16 in the last couple of years, but that was really it. And since then, that was kind of the only glory moment on the women's side. Since, you know, my mother
right
for my time since then. And then on top of that, this was where my mother played, and she's in the Hall of Fame there, and she's on the top scoring leaderboard as like the number 3 or 4 leading scorer, and during her time there wasn't even a 3-point line, you know what I'm saying? She never so it made sense at the time to go to Kansas.
Not the 3-point line.
But it made sense to end up at Kansas. And then as we were recruiting, as we were transferring, and, you know, my very ugly divorce, I never opened up my recruitment because of the fact that I just immediately knew where I needed to go to be just mentally okay. I needed to go to the middle of nowhere. I needed to go to the Rebel base. I needed to go with the Rebels and with Coach Kathy Olivier, and I needed to be with people that made me feel safe and that made me feel like they believed in me and they weren't just trying to use me to fulfill some of their agendas. And so that's why I was like, nope, I know where I need to go. And nobody else even like came to the forefront of my mind. So when I was transferred, it didn't even become like this big media thing at first because of the fact that I wanted to fly under the radar. At the time, I had already been talked about and posted all over the place and this and that. I didn't need one more defeat of the public criticizing my next greatest downfall of everybody being right about the fact that I as they say I am, or I'm not as this or that. Like, I didn't to go through that. I was already going through enough mentally, and I just wanted to get out. Like that was it, and the perfect place to start over.
Yeah. Well, it's blossomed into something for the ugliness. It has blossomed into something very amazing for you. I wish you nothing but much more success. You are the epitome of girl power. You are the epitome of being a young person and not giving up on your dream
Boss
and
babe,
pursuing
boss
that dream.
lady, all
And
that.
yes, and still forever Hooper in that mix and all of that. So I salute you, sis, and I just wish you continued success and wish you the best. And don't be a stranger on the show. Come back and holler at us for sure. You know,
before we let you go, we want to know. I mean, we know that you're gonna. I caught up with you at the Las Vegas ballpark because you're gonna be singing the national anthem for the Aviators, and that's on July 1st, I think. Yeah,
correct.
And I heard a little medley of that. You got some pipes, girl. So yeah.
Listen, her rendition of the national anthem is worth buying the ticket. Period. Like,
okay,
the rendition was amazing. Yeah,
I'll take that for sure.
But what else do you have? Like, what else are you in the works in? Like, besides the music, what else is coming in for us in 2021 and further into the future?
You guys, I have so much coming up and I'm super, super excited. So again, first and foremost, I just have to plug my solo debut for Diamonds featuring DJ Horse coming up on 6/20. And during that same day, to everybody who's in Vegas, I'm actually also doing a grand opening at the Dr. Fish in South Outlets and performance, and there's going to be Father's Day specials. It's going to be such a fun time because, you know, I'm influenced by Vegas, so I've gone to shows. I see how they do things. I want to create an experience, so that's exactly what we're going to do on the 20th and on the 21st at the Dr. Fish. That's in fashion show, and the prime time hours to be there are 12 p.m. to 3 p.m.
And I'll be there because I work at fashion show. Come see me.
Come through, man.
Yes, I'll definitely come through.
And we're doing pop-up shops. I'm selling my merch lines dropping. I've been doing a lot of designing with clothes. And I basically, right now, we're designing basically for like season 10, right? Because we just get so many ideas. We get so inspired. But we're just about to launch like the first season of my clothing line called Drip by Dill. So that's also kind of
Hey, I like it. I like it. That's dope.
Drip doctor, like, you know.
The drip doctor, yes.
She gonna have drip for sale, y'all. She gonna have drip for sale. Yes. Love it.
City had to become Drip City real quick. So I'm excited about that coming up. And then I have a whole bunch of cool stuff like movies and film and a lot of details are still tentative, but I've been working on a movie that I've been co-writing with my guy DeMarcus Billups and Director X, and I just got the trailer the other day from Director X, and we're just going through that process now of how movies are kind of done now, getting all our finance guys in place. We got our producers on board, we got our visual effects guys on board. We're getting into the casting. I get to be a part of that, and this weekend as I'm going to kind of plan all of the craziness and the summer touring for what's coming up musically and just kind of incorporating everything, even basketball. This weekend, I get to also work on the soundtrack for that movie as well. So,
that's great. That's exciting.
Series now. It was originally a movie, but they wanted more, so now we're having to rewrite and we're having to make it a series. So I get to work on the soundtrack.
That's very exciting.
Then I'm going to be dropping another free project come July. So I'm just trying to make sure that music is always coming out because it's just been sitting in the tank. So I'm dropping a free project. One, because J. Cole kind of he inspired me. He gave me the confidence boost that I needed to talk my shit. So yeah, it's a freestyle. It's a mixtape called Miami Freestyle, and it's just because I feel like it's better than what a lot of people have out right now, and me dropping it for free is making a statement. And that's what I'm trying to do coming into the game.
Yeah. Shout out to J. Cole
Wow.
too. You know, that's my guy. I don't know him, but I love his music. You know what I mean? You couldn't have partnered with a better person. I'm a fan.
Listen, I'm still trying to pray on that one. If I could do something with J. Cole, that would be like a dream come true.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're putting it out there.
Because we put it out there. It's gonna happen now.
Yeah.
You put it out there. Then the next step is to reach out. Exactly. There you go. Yes.
So my last question will be, because obviously I think some of us, not you, have missed on the Summer Body 2021 because of pandemic and whatnot. But what would be your top 3 things for the women that are watching, for the women that will see the show, what are your top 3 things that you do to not only stay healthy, but like if you had a go-to 15-minute workout that you know that you have to do, even if you just have a few minutes to get done, what are the things you live by to stay healthy and to keep in shape?
Okay, so first and foremost, I drink a gallon of water a day. Gallon of water a day. It'll change your life. It does more than just like hydrate you. Like it gives you energy. It changes your state of mind. It helps you sleep at night. You actually physically, mentally, and spiritually will start feeling better. You literally will just like feel in the flow of everything. So a gallon of water a day. Now I did have to kind of start out just trying to make that a goal and then just keep like working on reaching the goal. But that's like water and my sponsor, Body Armor, are really all that I drink. You know, I feel like when it comes to nutrition, a lot of people don't even realize that most of the shittiness that they're intaking comes from the stuff they drink. You know, sodas and things like that. If you can just commit to just cutting that out and still enjoying whatever foods you want to enjoy, just cut out the drink side of it and just commit to water, your life will automatically do a 180. And then the next thing I would say is strength yoga. Strength yoga is just another, if you look, an amazing person who does strength yoga, let's see. Well, honestly, I kind of do my own, so I'm gonna have to drop my version of strength yoga. But you can
please do, yeah,
please do, and put it on YouTube so I can watch it in the morning and get it cracking.
We gotta get
work.
Cracking. And yes, another thing that I do constantly. I would say I would personally suggest, if anybody hasn't tried it, Oprah and one of my favorite gurus, Deepak Chopra, did this collaboration together where they did 21 days of meditation. I believe if you go on YouTube, I know that they do 21 days of gratitude, 21 days of abundance. And I think there's another one that at least 3 versions, but gratitude and abundance, I'll still just sometimes go and click a random one to just wake up to and do it in the morning. But those 3 things like alone can really, really help you change your life. Just some walk, yoga, strength yoga. Actually, yoga with Adrienne is a good flexibility, and she actually does some strength yoga too. Yoga with Adrienne. So yoga and meditation.
Meditations are key for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Well,
and the water. As I put my cocktail down, I gotta finish it.
Listen,
and then I'm going to.
I stay with the water anyway.
And then I'm going. I mean, I had a water bottle, never drank it the whole show. I've been drinking water all day, and I was like, well, let me just make. But can I tell you, I got this green tea from Trader Joe's. It's only like 10 calories. It's sparkling, but now I have to put it away because I'm gonna finish the case, and then I'll get into the water thing.
You just gotta start to be great. That's what I say.
Well, Dylan, we know you're
fabulous.
busy. We're super excited for all that you have coming up. We can't wait. If we can help in any way by helping you, obviously you don't need help promoting. You've got all the people out there. But if you need help, we're here for you. We support you. Yes. We thank you so much for being on here. And hopefully we'll get you on again when we get some more music or maybe movies coming out and whatnot.
Yeah. Look, we'll stay.
And where can everybody find you if they haven't found you already?
Yeah, for the other non-people that have been on.
Right.
Just in case. No.
Just in case.
But for anybody who wants to keep up with me, I would definitely suggest going to my Instagram, Dylan.Gonzalez, and my Twitter, also Dylan Gonzalez. And from those 2 platforms, you'll really be able to connect with all of my other platforms. Those are kind of like the hubs that you should go to.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you so much,
Dylan.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you guys.
We're thankful for having you on. Have a good
Yes.
night. Stay busy. We'll catch you out there. Good luck.
Yes. Take care. Mm-hmm.
Oh
Dylan
my
Gonzalez,
God.
ladies and gentlemen.
I mean,
Thank
you can't
so much
beat
for
that.
everybody that joined the chat. I mean, this was an amazing, amazing conversation that we had with her. So much that we talked about. I mean, you can't
So much stuff.
And
It's
so much more. I mean, she's just getting started. So that's the thing that's just even
just
unbelievable.
getting started.
Just getting
I
started.
know.
Just getting started.
So we
Just
want to shout out
cocoa
again real quick to our sponsor this month, House of Paws. Check out their new location off Buffalo and Washington,
House of
where every paw
Paws.
matters. If you head over there, mention Girl Chat Sports, you'll get a free item with your purchase. Thanks to Meg over there at House of Paws. And did I mention, I don't want to distract anybody from not going there, but their new store, the colors inside are blue and green. You know I'm out for that, right? You know I
just like saying House of Paws.
House of Paws.
Can you come in the House of Paws, y'all? Shout out to them. I appreciate them in the sponsorship. Like, this is dope. Yeah. You do have to. I don't even have a pet, but I want to go in there.
Well, maybe because I know you got to get readjusted.
I'm gonna say House of Paws.
They're right by your house. I mean, they're right by you too out there off of Buffalo.
I know you said Washington Buffalo. It's like right around the corner. I'm gonna have to go. Check out.
You're gonna
House
have
of
to.
Paws.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yes,
so we promised to get into some more sports next week. We actually have a good guest coming up next week. Wait, what week are we in now? Maybe not next week. Later. I forget what day it is. But we definitely are going to talk more sports next week.
Yes. And anybody interested in guesting next Wednesday or wanting to join us, it's
if we got any fathers out there,
any fathers out there that want to just kind of talk sports with us and talk some ish, we got this Phoenix game going on, and Phoenix is 88-67. I don't know what's going to happen with your ticket. Yes, I've told you they were shooting their lights out. I can't. Phoenix.
I thought Denver was going to have more in the tank, man.
No, they gave it all they had in Denver. I see, but it's stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding if we have to. We're in the fourth quarter with this too. 11 minutes and 30 seconds left. So hopefully your team will go on a run so you can cover.
It's not my team. I only bet the Nuggets +5. I figured they would at least kept it close for this game.
I mean, it's money when it's your team at the moment. I mean, it's not technically your team, but when it's money, right?
It's my play money. I put $5 on it.
Okay.
I'm not $5 or nothing.
Yeah, $5.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Hey, but shout out to our Vegas Gold Knights. We hit that game 5 in Minnesota. We coming back for game 6 on Thursday. Tomorrow, this could be seal it. We could steal it right here.
Yes.
So let's all give the Vegas Golden Knights some positive energy. I know our Aces have been off for like a little while. They played Saturday. They don't play again, I think, until Sunday.
Yep. Sunday game. I'm on the list for the Journal Pass. Hopefully I can go and check that out. Shout out to Natalie, who's been attending the games, been a loyal fan at the home season.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody that was on the chat today. Goose and Eric and Demetrius and
if you're just catching the end of it, make sure you rewatch. It'll replay. So
please watch the replay. And shout out to Dylan Gonzalez because she brought that, and we loved her energy and loved that she had a story to tell and was able to share that with us. So shout out to her.
Indeed.
Yes.
And that's going to be it for us. We've already gone over an hour. So, it's been a great show. We appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Make sure to go to our YouTube, subscribe, hit up House of Paws for all your pet needs. And come back next Wednesday and check us out. All right.
Yep. And we out. 2 fingers.
Bye.
House of Paws.